I love you guys. So this is such a treat for me. I know you're not Jewish, Dave, but you won a Pulitzer Prize. So that is sort of Jewish. Like, that makes you an honorary Jew.
Can I just say that if you tell enough people over the years you won a Pulitzer Prize, it gets on Wikipedia. No one ever checks. Just a little tip to anybody interested in journalism out there.
Well, I don't know if you knew this. I won the Nobel Prize for Literature. So
I saw that on Wikipedia.
yeah, it's on Wiki.
Yeah.
Yeah, who leaked that? Anyway, this book is fucking hilarious. I have many questions. First of all, Alan, you have to say that you helped create Rosanna Dana. And it's not even in your bio on this.
I say an original Saturday Night Live writer.
No, you didn't. You didn't even did you say SNL? No.
Let's read it.
Numerous Emmy It's Gary Shandling's show, Late Show with David Letterman, and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
No. Let's start again from the top. An original Saturday Night Live writer.
Oh, I didn't read that part.
Yeah.
Whatever. Or maybe I did. Whatever.
This is an outrage.
You did an amazing. Now, Adam is like 43 years old. I don't really think he needs to be up here.
That's cool.
No, I'm kidding. Stay here. So first of all, who decided out of the three of you we're going to do this book?
I think Adam.
Yeah.
Because 43-year-olds think this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they write go the fuck to sleep.
Right.
And when I'm sitting there like, why the fuck didn't I write that book? But I think only a guy could get away with doing that.
That may be true.
Yeah, because the mother, she's a terrible mother. So the three of you, how long have you known each other?
7. We know each other about 10 years, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
10 years,
Yeah.
and then where did you?
And then we've known each other like 8 years.
8 years. And
We've
then
known
I
each other,
introduced the two of them.
3 years.
3.
How long have you two known each other?
Yeah. How long do I know you?
Yeah. How long have you people out there known each other?
Hey. My wife Robin is here, and
Oh, I love
and,
Robin.
yeah.
She's the best.
And I've known her 42 years.
42 years
Yeah.
with Robin, and you're the sperm donor of my children, correct?
Yeah. How are they?
They'll see you on Father's Day as usual. Okay.
As usual.
I'm kidding. So, first of all, you all live in 3 separate areas of the country. I don't think 10 years is that long. Like, how did you meet? Did you meet in a literary situation, or?
Well, I do a lot of work at old age homes. And it just so happened that I was reading to the elderly
Right.
at the home where Dave and Alan's children live.
Right.
So,
And they were cleaning, I heard they were cleaning your catheter, and everyone, all right, so.
I met Dave about 10 years ago in Washington, D.C. Steve Martin was given the Mark Twain Award, which is like the Comedy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right.
Dave spoke at the event. I was down there because I helped Larry David write his speech. And at the after party, I saw Dave sitting there very much by himself. And I went up to him and I said, listen, I'd really like to change your life. And we became friends, and we saw each other on various book tours, and then our wives became friends, and then he and I wrote a book together called Lunatics, and, and here we are. I had met Adam, and the three of us met at the Miami Book Fair, and we did about 2 years ago now, a parody of the Haggadah called
Yes.
For This We Left Egypt, and we enjoyed the process so much that we decided to do another book.
So about the process, you all live in 3 different areas of the country. Dave is the child of a Presbyterian minister.
Correct. Also the grandson of a Presbyterian minister.
Oh, so
Yeah.
2 generations.
Long line.
are you saying that your father is your grandfather?
Yeah.
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 God, they never explained that to me, but that makes
Yeah.
Sounds
that explains a lot.
It's very Ashkenazi-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you're an atheist.
Yeah,
But you're married to a Jew.
I am.
Okay, so you can be here. But, like, Well, I'm assuming it was your idea because to do the book.
Mine?
No.
I actually think it was
Adam's?
Yeah.
If you read the bios, the part about me having no other friends is very true.
Okay.
So this was a way for me to see these guys.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's the only reason we did it. We threw him a bone because I said, Dave, he's sitting there by himself, and let's do the book.
Did you decide we're going to go through every iota of this religion and, write about it in a humorous way? Because literally you miss nothing.
Okay, that's not true. We missed pretty much everything. But Adam, who is the most organized of the three of us,
Which is a stunning.
It is really.
In no other group
Came
of
up-
people am I the most organized.
he came up with this list of topics.
Yeah.
And every couple of weeks, he would send us emails listing all these topics that needed to be. It was like an assignment. It was just he was like a really
School marm.
annoying
Right.
junior high school teacher.
Right.
And kept assigning us topics, and then we would write things, and he would
But
always.
how would you decide? Would you
Here's
be like,
the
I'm
secret.
taking this, I'm taking that?
We ignored his topics and just.
You did?
And
Yeah. My topics were like, hey, somebody should write about Hanukkah. And Dave would be like, I'm going to write about the history of bagels. And I'd be like, okay, cool. But that
That
at
has
some
nothing
point,
to do with
at some
Hanukkah.
point, somebody has to write about Hanukkah.
Right.
You know, people will notice if Hanukkah is absent from the book.
Yeah.
And then Alan would be like, I'm going to write about why yarmulkes are round. I'd be like, okay, great.
Had to be told. Somebody had to tell it.
But, so yeah, we started accumulating all of these pages that got us no closer to the goal of having a book.
And so we
that
would get
covered-
more emails from the school marm here.
Right.
And,
Did you, you had to do research to, you have to know your topic in order to write a joke.
I have two words for you.
Yeah.
Wikipedia. we did that much kind of.
Is that what you really use?
There's a lot of Wikipedia in this book.
No Talmudic.
Who?
You didn't call a rabbi. You didn't.
What we did was we made up the names of authoritative rabbinical
Yes, I
institutions.
noticed that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have every possible permutation of American Association of Rabbis of America, that kind of.
Right.
But we didn't actually talk to, I don't think, any rabbis, no. I feel that would have hurt would destroy the purity of the process.
That's right.
Also,
So-
I mean,
We didn't want to contaminate it with fact.
have you ever tried to talk to a rabbi?
I know some normal rabbis.
Yeah?
They don't shut up, but I know,
Yeah. Yeah, we had deadlines to meet. If we'd started talking to rabbis, there's
Yeah,
no way
we'd
this
still
book
be
would have
there,
been
yeah.
finished.
Who is more Jewy? Alan? Now, Dave, you're
No,
Adam.
can I make my case?
Yes, go ahead.
I am married to a Jewish woman. She's Cuban Jewish, Juban, they call themselves.
Yes, they
in
call them
Miami.
Jubans, yeah.
They joke, they didn't come on rafts, they parted the Caribbean. But she goes, like many Jewish people, she goes to synagogue on the high holy days, which you never know when they're going to happen.
Right, of course.
It's like hurricanes. They should a little map. There's a
Right.
Jewish holiday coming. Get ready.
Right.
We don't even have that much warning. No, but so what'll happen is we won't go, and then suddenly one weekend or a random Tuesday, we'll spend 17,000 hours in the synagogue waiting for the guy to blow the horn.
Right.
Okay, I've done that many times. He never, hardly ever.
You
Him,
ne-
I don't know so
no,
much.
he's very
But
Jew. I don't care if.
Well, what do you think? This is Nordic?
He had that done. He had that.
I had it lengthened, yes.
He looked exactly like Audrey Hepburn before.
Wait, nothing? Like,
I was never bar mitzvahed.
Why?
I was thrown out of Hebrew school.
Well-
And by Hebrew school, I don't mean Hebrew school. I mean the Sunday school for Jewish studies that was
Right.
held at an off-brand junior college near where I lived.
okay.
It was like this.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts.
Okay. That is so Jewy. You're telling me.
I DJ'd a lot of bar mitzvahs.
Okay.
Stoned.
That is the Jewiest place in the world.
It's pretty Jewy, but yeah.
And you're like, oh, there was no Hebrew school.
Well, not for me, because my parents were not religious. They felt guilty, so they sent me to the so you think you might be Jewish Sunday school and grill.
Right.
And I got kicked out for singing Living on a Prayer into the microphone at an all-school assembly instead of the phonetically spelled out prayer that I was supposed to read,
Right.
which was phonetically spelled out, because I opted out of Hebrew class, because that's the kind of
Right.
Sunday school and grill this was.
Can you give them just a little bit of living on a prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing you tell that story, but I haven't heard you. Come on, a little bit.
Oh, halfway there.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
If I heard enough.
You know, that's actually why you got kicked out.
It was-
Horrible singing.
Yeah. So
Bad Bon Jovi.
But weren't
David's
you surrounded
definitely-
by Jews? Like you're in Newton, your friends are having bar mitzvahs and making a shitload of money.
Right.
And you're like, I don't want to have a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have any siblings?
No. I had a brother who passed away.
Oh, good. I'm glad I brought that up. I'm very
wow.
sorry.
Good one. Wait, one more.
Yes, go ahead.
One more claim. Okay, my son and daughter-in-law are sitting right here, and they are raising their children Jewish, and
Are you Jewy, the mom? Okay.
I was the Sondek. Do you know even know what that means? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I held their baby.
No, you held it during the bris.
I held the baby during the bris when the moil snipped the.
Yeah. Penis.
So that's pretty Jewish,
You're
don't
not
you
allowed to
think?
say penis in a 92nd Street
Oh, I'm
line.
sorry. Cock.
Yeah.
So, by the way, what a lively audience, don't you think?
They're out there.
Yeah. So, did you learn anything? Did you learn anything writing these chapters? Because there are facts in the chapters.
I learned some stuff. I've forgotten it already, but I grew up on in a conservative
Yes, same.
home in Long Island. We were kosher.
Same.
We had milchdick and fleischig for
That's-
regular.
yeah.
That's
Those were
meat
your
and
cats?
dairy. And then meat and dairy also for Passover. So we had 4 sets of dishes.
Underrated joke.
And then,
We did the glass.
no, well, I'll tell you what happened. My mother discovered that there was a Chinese restaurant that had just opened up. This is on Long Island. So she then decided, okay, we're going to be kosher in the house. But outside of the house, all hell can break
Right,
loose.
right.
But then
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 8, and then another Chinese restaurant opened that delivered.
Oh,
So my mother went.
this is a big problem.
Well, this
Yeah.
she solved
Paper
it
plates.
though. No paper plates, because she said, okay, we'll be kosher in the house, but we'll have the Chinese food delivered and we'll eat it in the garage. Because that's where the car lives. That's not us. So they would come, we'd pull out the car, and we'd sit in the garage and eat.
Is this true?
God's honest truth.
Did you have
yeah.
a table at least?
We had a folding. We had a bridge.
Yeah, they
we
have
had
a
bridge
card
table.
table. Of
yeah.
course.
Right,
They
yeah.
play mahjong.
Right.
So, all right, so you're ordering the Chinese food, but are you ordering pork? Or are you doing like chicken?
Pork didn't come until we moved to a bigger house with a bigger garage when I was 17.
Is this true?
They got a gazebo for the pork.
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, there's a connection between the Jews and the Chinese. The reason we love Chinese food, I did a thing for the Food Network on this, is because when we came over, we were both immigrants, and we were always lived near each other because we were in the Jew side of town or the Chinese side. So, and they don't mix meat and dairy in their food.
Or use dairy really.
They don't
Right,
have
they don't
dairy,
use
right?
dairy at all.
They don't even have cows, right?
All right, Dave, why do you have to one-up me?
I don't know. I
Pulitzer Prize
genuinely
crap,
curious.
Okay, isn't that
so-
enough?
all right, no.
Isn't
I'm
that
sorry.
enough?
Yeah.
But yeah, they
You know, I
don't
won a
mix meat and
Pulitzer
dairy,
Prize.
and that's why that's why. All right. So, you know, you're all authors in your own right. You're deciding, okay, I'm sure any publisher would be like, oh my God, this is the greatest idea in the entire world, right? And the three of you are so successful. But, you know, I just wrote a book.
You just touched your chest.
Yeah, no, I touched this.
Oh, okay.
I just wrote a book. And I wrote a book years ago and I got a lot more money. I mean, how has the publishing world changed? And is it getting better or worse?
I would say worse, you know, but thanks for bringing that up.
This is one of Alan's suggested questions.
You suggested that question?
You know, she needed help.
No, I did not.
He really suggested.
I
Why not?
know, I
Really
think
nice
there is a
person.
change.
Why not just ask us state capitals? Well,
Right.
you know.
I'm still trying to
publishers-
get over the fact that
You
there are
gave
no
her that-
cows in China. All of China doesn't have one cow?
I don't know really. I just was throwing that out there. But yes, the publishing industry, it's depressing. It really is depressing, right?
It is, but is it iBook? Is it because of iBooks? Is it because people are
It's these millennials that we blame for everything. I don't know. People are reading books on machines, which I think isn't that bad, but I don't think they're reading as many books as they used to.
Although, a few years ago, independent bookstores were in bad trouble, and they've really rebounded.
Right.
Like, the numbers are up for independent bookstores, thanks to you guys going to your local independent bookstores.
Jews.
And browsing the books that you want to buy and then going and ordering them from Amazon afterward for less money. Thanks, guys. You're killing the industry.
Yeah.
Our publisher is here tonight, so we have to be a little bit circumspect.
Oh.
And we've got the best publisher.
Let's see who the publisher is.
Bob Miller is his name.
Bob Miller?
Yes, it is. And he's wearing a yarmulke tonight. He
No,
told
he
us.
isn't.
He said he would.
Said he would.
Yeah, no.
Is he
left
Jewish,
the
Bob
mikveh
Miller?
and came here.
Oh, they,
There he is.
Oh, there he is, front row, of course.
Before we get off of the whole
Yes,
pork thing, I had something happen to me recently that I think, I don't know, I thought this was very funny and very Jewish.
Okay.
I was in a fish store that I always go to, and I was with my oldest daughter, and we're buying like a pint of clam chowder. So I buy the clam chowder.
That's very Jewish.
Yeah. We go and
Fair.
I pay for it, and then before I can take the top off, because our intention is to sit right outside the fish store and eat
Right.
the cold
Right.
clam chowder with spoons. It's disgusting. I read the ingredients, and there's pork in the clam chowder. So I go back in to return it because I don't eat pork. I don't keep kosher, but I don't eat pork.
But you eat clams.
And I return the clam chowder,
Kosher
and this
clam.
woman, and I say, hey, I didn't realize there's pork in this, and she gives me my money, and this old lady, this old Jewish lady behind me is like aghast. She hears me, oh my God, I've been eating this clam chowder for 20 years. There's pork in it, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure, like, read for yourself. And she
Yeah.
reads it, she's like, I can't believe this, what am I gonna do? And yet, what's funny to me about that is that there's no conversation at all about the fact that we're both eating clams,
right.
which are no less forbidden
Right.
to Jews in any way than pork.
but it says in the Torah if it's in a chowder.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a proverb.
Yeah.
Do you think that, there's
This is another question he gave
No,
you?
I'm done with
Okay.
his fucking questions.
Can you
They're
just throw
boring.
out any questions Alan gave you, please?
There's three, well, there's more now, but there's different sects of Judaism, right?
All right.
What did you focus on? Any sort, like, all right, we're going to go the reform route, we're going to go the conservative route, we're going to go. While you were learning all about these, I assume you didn't know what Shavuos was.
Well, we did
Who
ask.
does?
Well, I know because my mother's name was Ruth, and she sat in the boys' Hebrew school class. Girls didn't go to Hebrew school in the 20s and early 30s, so she voluntarily sat in the boys' Hebrew school class, and they became bar mitzvahed, and they did something for her on Shavuos.
Oh, it's like a Yentl thing.
Yeah, she's a Yentl. Yep.
Right, she's a Yentl.
Well, she's dead. She's a dead Yentl.
Oh.
But yeah.
All right, we've got two dead people
Wait,
so
okay.
far.
Well, there's all these different sects. Did you end up liking Judaism more? Did you end up did you walk away with anything about the religion? Like, okay, because we are funny people.
No, it brought back memories. It did. I hadn't heard Lag Bomer in a while.
Lag Bomer, yeah.
Tu B'Shvat.
Right.
Right.
I
learned
as
a
a
lot.
matter of fact.
Tu B'Shvat is the most miserable, isn't it? Or it's Tisha
All right.
B'Av. Tisha B'Av's the most miserable day of the year.
Perhaps
But
Alan
yeah.
will read about
Tu
Yes.
B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is one of those Jewish holidays that the majority of American Jews have never heard of. And of those American Jews who have heard of it, the majority don't know what the holiday is for. And for those American Jews who do know what the holiday is for, the majority feel that it falls squarely into the category of who gives a shit. To begin with, Tu B'Shvat is the 15th day of the month of Shavat. Tu is a combination of the letters Tet and Vav, which have the numerical values of 9 and 6, which add up to 15. Hence, the name Tu B'Shvat means the 15th of Shavat. So the holiday is named for the date it falls on, with no hint whatsoever of what it signifies. Think about it. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement. Rosh Hashanah means the head of the year. Passover implies of the angel of death that passed over Jewish homes the night before the Hebrew slaves left Egypt. The holiday names have hints as to why they exist. But the 15th of Shavat, it's tantamount to our having a holiday called August 12th. For no reason other than the fact that it falls on August 12th. Again, who gives a shit? But let's dig deeper, shall we? According to the rabbis, Tu B'Shvat, despite all its ill-conceived name, is actually the celebration of Israel's planting season, similar to our Arbor Day. Okay, that's a step in the right direction. But when does the 15th day of Shavat fall on our calendar? Anywhere from late January to early February, the dead of winter, the time of year when you can see your breath and have to start warming up your car a week before you have to use it. Planting? Seriously? Ever try to plunge a shovel into the frozen earth on Super Bowl Sunday? Or have to rent a plow to move high drifts of wet snow before getting down on your knees to plant an azalea bush on Groundhog Day? A day whose name lets you know what it's for, by the way. As for you, Jewish Floridians, Jewish Californians, Jewish Arizonans, etc., whose weather allows for planting in late January and early February, fine. Plant your asses off to your heart's delight. But good luck with your boss when you tell him you can't come to work that day because you're observing Tu B'Shvat. Or after telling your college professor you can't take your history midterm because it's the beginning of the planting season in Israel. We recommend that you brace yourself in preparation for the response of you're fired, or you failed, or more likely, who gives a shit? So,
This is one of the great advantages of being Jewish, though, in being a minority. You can just wander up to any Gentile and say, I can't come to work tomorrow. It's Harish Kadoma.
Yeah.
And they won't dare.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah, oh, Harish Kadoma. It's the second or third most holy day of the year.
Yeah.
And it only comes around every now. It's like a comet. You know, we never know. Never know.
Rosh HaShithead is next week. Okay, and it's the most hilarious photo of two Jews. Well, I'm assuming they're Jewish. Okay.
And that it's a photo.
And they're dancing on Mel Gibson's grave. Who? That's you.
He has a
didn't
thing.
write that.
no, I wrote that.
Alan wrote that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you had the thing about Mel Gibson.
I wrote some other Mel Gibson.
No,
jokes.
Mel Gibson makes a few appearances in there.
We really should.
Rosh Shithead, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mel is here tonight.
Mel?
Mel, can you come in? That's why, yeah.
Wait. Okay.
That's my mom. She's the one who made us eat the Chinese food in the garage.
That's Susan Engel from the 92nd Street Y.
Fine.
How do you deal, well, you Dave, you don't deal with it, but how do you deal with, anti-Semitism is on the rise. Your publishers here, these Jewish books, which I love, the Haggadah one is hilarious. Besides us, intellectual, Jews, who buys this?
Yeah, Bob. Yeah.
It's a great gift. It's a perfect gift, but
It's rectangular, easy to wrap.
Right.
It has
But
sequentially
is it
numbered.
only Jews who buy this? Is what I'm.
I'm hoping that people who are not Jewish will learn a little bit more about us from this book.
Wow.
and the world will be a better place.
I'm going to go back to Alan's question.
I'm hoping that fans of Dave Barry, who are marginally illiterate,
That's kind of redundant.
we'll buy this book thinking that is a standard Dave Barry humor book.
Now, you're working, you're about to shoot a film that you wrote.
Right.
I was not called in.
Dave and I were called maybe every day for the past 8 months. Hey guys, did you know I'm doing a movie with Billy Crystal, my friend Billy Crystal?
I wrote a movie with Billy Crystal that's going to star Billy and Tiffany Haddish, and we start shooting next Thursday. Yeah.
Well, thank God it's after Rosh Hashithead and before Yom Kippur. And what have the...
It's in color, yeah.
Okay. You've been criticized. You've had critics who told me to say this. That, you're writing a movie. Are you worried about what?
Is he setting up?
He's setting up the fucking Roger.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna.
You said, oh my God. My wife said, oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna
Say she knows what's coming.
Why don't I read a section from the book now?
I was getting to that. I was going to
Because
do that
otherwise,
next.
he's going to pull out his Roger Ebert review.
For the love of God.
Well, that's what he told me to do.
We're not going
I
to. We're not
can't
going to
You know what?
listen to
Next
it. We're not
time
going to sit here and let him do that.
moderate, I'm calling you two and not him. Okay?
I will walk off stage if Alan reads the Roger Ebert review of
literally-
His wife
I
will leave.
consent.
His
I
wife
will-
will leave.
Robin and I are going to leave and go see a movie.
Okay,
I'm done.
just so you know that what we're talking about here, Adam and I have been on stage with Alan approximately 800 times. Every single time, Alan manages to work it around to the movie North, which he co-wrote, that got a terrible review from Roger Ebert, which he's going to read now. So
I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated every simpering, stupid, fake, and audience insulting moment of it. Hated the sensibility that thought anyone would like it.
he's reading it.
Hated the implied insult to the audience by its belief that anyone would actually be entertained by it. Now, on the surface,
That would appear to be a
this may
negative
seem
review.
to be an unfavorable review. But if you read it again, and I think we sort
You
of
got to
like
make
it.
another
nothing we
copy
can do to
because
stop
it's
it.
like ripped up. Do you think you could only
You know,
write...
if you buy a wallet just on the street from a
Yeah.
street vendor, it
It's
has
in
that
there,
review in
has
it.
there. Instead of the photo,
Yeah,
that fake photo.
yeah.
Do you think a book like this could only be written about the Jewish religion because we have
Yes.
such great senses of humor? Because I can't imagine someone writing something about Catholics or Muslims and be like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you ever heard the phrase Christian humor?
No, I haven't.
Not something that...
But you are absolutely right. That's the best thing about the Jewish people is that
Is that we like to laugh.
they get it. They just
Right.
get the joke.
I think that's how we survived all this time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we rolled with the punches, and we go, all right, what's our choices here? And it's a mindset, that nothing is that horrible that we can't somehow survive this. And
That said, we are doing an Episcopalian book.
That would be so boring.
It's a short.
It's a
more
pamphlet.
It's more of a card, an index card.
I always get asked, why do you think there's so many Jewish comedians? I always get asked that question, and I've really thought about it, and I do think it's because the religion facilitates thinking out of the box. Correct? Because, there's these guys that are still, they get up every day, they study the same passage and, try to reinterpret it, and don't work in Israel, by the way. But what do you think it is? Well, Dave, you're a little bit outside of the, why do you think there's so many Jewish comedians?
Well, I think it's
comedy writers.
It's basically what Alan said, that there's sort of a despair worldview behind it all. Things have not worked out well. They probably aren't going to work out well. We're fucked.
Right.
Is kind of the worldview. And so if things even seem to be going okay,
Yeah.
there's a problem.
Right.
Right?
And if something's going okay, you have to be like, no, it's going to be shit
Yeah.
in 5 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, that we always do the poo 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 and don't ever like enjoy anything.
We break a glass at the wedding,
Right,
the happiest
right.
day of your life,
Yeah.
to signify that
By the
it's
way,
not going to be
everyone
so
died.
like this
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, the temple was destructed. Bye-bye. Destroyed.
It's enough already with that.
Also, you know, it's worth pointing out that for large periods of our history, the Jews were not allowed to own land or
Yes.
hold many other jobs, so we had to go into stand-up comedy.
Right.
But also, you know, I mean, there's also, you know, Judaism is about obeying laws, and by obeying, I mean figuring out workarounds and
Right.
loopholes so you don't have to obey them. And that, you know, if you can do that, if you're the kind of person whose mind works in such a way as to say, okay, on the Sabbath I am not allowed to walk my dog, but I gotta walk my dog. So let me go get a rabbi to take a piece of string, string it around half of Manhattan, consecrate it, say that everything within that string is my home, and I can walk my dog in my home. So I'm both obeying the rule and breaking the rule, and my dog doesn't have to shit in my living room.
Right.
That's Judaism. Like, if you can do that, you can write a few fucking jokes,
Right.
you know?
What do you think of? All right, this is a little Debbie Downer, but there's a lot of anti-Semitism now. Have you experienced it? You know, Dave. You know.
Yes, it's been
No,
hard for me.
But have you guys experienced any? I see it in my
Well,
work. Yeah.
I know I'm not Jewish. My daughter is Jewish, though. She goes to college, and on college
does she
campus,
go?
she goes to Duke.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. She did very well.
But there is a, you know, kind of an undercurrent, and not even under a lot of times. There's pretty much every big college campus. There's a pretty strong it's always couched as anti-Israel, and we were talking about that, but it bleeds over. It isn't always just anti-Israel, and you can tell. Anyway, and they have to deal with that. You know, my daughter's very active in Hillel, and they talk about that, you know, how to deal with that. But it's kind of sad that they have to deal with it.
It's so sad because when I was growing up, my mother, they all hate us. Everyone hates us. The minute you leave the room, they're going to call you a dirty Jew. You know, I'd bring a friend over. I'd be like, this is my new friend, Beth. Do you think she would hide you? I mean, it was like ridiculous, right?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So,
Do you think she would hide you?
Was that your first question when your daughter brought friends over?
no, son, I have 2 sons. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Sons, all right.
So, but no, it was constant, drilled into me, and I was so like, you're overreacting. But now I feel like, you know, thank God they're not here to see this.
Well, I understand that, and I can relate to that because given our age and the age of our parents.
You're much older than me.
Okay, but our grandparents, the Holocaust was a very real thing.
Yeah.
It was everybody's memory, and I was born in 1950. You know, liberation was only 5 years earlier,
yeah.
so it was around, and I thought, given the 60s, 70s, and okay, it's starting to recede, the anti-Semitism that I mostly learned about and didn't experience. But now what's happening now is, I agree with you, it's sort of scary that, Jesus, maybe they were right, you know, in terms of some of the paranoia and some of the feelings that might be out there.
And it's true. Like, we can criticize the president, and he's not even the president. I mean, whatever he is. The mob boss. We can criticize him, but you can't. It seems as if you can't criticize. If you criticize Israel, you're criticizing the Jewish people. Do you know what I mean? And then if, like, why can't Jews criticize Israel without it? Okay, we'll get into another topic. So, I know.
The capital of Vermont is Montpelier. I just want to get
No,
that.
I love Israel, and it's just like, go there. Like, I just want people to go there. Like, you hate Israel, you think they're horrible. Go there. They have a gay pride parade. Women are equal. They don't care if if you're in the army, you're fighting for the country. They don't care what gender you are. But, you know, it's, I don't know.
I'm with you. big on. I'm not sure that I don't know if I speak for everybody here, but I agree with you.
Thank you, Dave.
I've been to Israel.
Dave and I have really hit it off
Yeah.
tonight.
You want me to change
Let's-
seats so
No.
we can be closer?
Excellent falafel.
What do you think makes comedy Jewish? Like, what do you think it is? What's the difference between like Jim Gaffigan, not Jewish? What makes something like?
What is the difference
Is it a
between
question
Jim
mark at the end that we? What makes it Jewish comedy?
I think we go below the surface. I think people who aren't Jewish have a tendency, I'm not saying everybody, it's not a blanket statement, to skim along the top, okay? I think that we dig a little deeper. I think that there's a great degree of therapy in our humor.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's an acknowledgement of neuroses and fears and phobias. We call them out and we make jokes about them. Look at Woody Allen, look at my friend Larry David, look at people who say what we feel and act out what we feel, as opposed to others who just do observational things.
Right.
And the-
Can you read the review again? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
Yes, I can.
I mean, in comedy, you're always supposed to punch up, right? That's
Right.
that's a trope. The Jews have, for many, many years, only had up to punch,
Right.
really. And there's a way that I think Jewish humor, at its core, kind of, it plays anti-Semitism against itself. It reveals it as ridiculous while also being self-deprecating. It is a whole sensibility, and I mean, it's hard to define. You kind of know when you see it. To me, there are certain jokes that are quintessentially Jewish, some of which are very divisive. My favorite Jewish joke right now is a joke that I know Jews who hate the joke. Here's the joke. This Jewish guy moves in next door to Rockefeller, right? Buys the same car, hires the same gardener. Rockefeller's checking him out, and one day, as they're both walking to their identical cars, Rockefeller looks over the hedgerow and he says, "You think you're as good as me, don't you?" And the Jewish guy's like, "As good as you? I think I'm better than you." Rockefeller is dismayed and furious, and he's like, "Really? What the hell gives you that idea?" The guy's like, "Well, for one thing, I don't live next door to a Jew."
See, and the thing about that
It's
is,
such a great joke.
That's a perfect,
that is a quintessential-
perfectly
Right.
a
Jewish
lot
joke.
of people don't know that Rockefeller was Jewish,
Yes.
and that's what
Yeah.
makes it. I'm giving you a Presbyterian explanation of the joke.
But it's also that we do it before they can. We one up them as far as intelligence, and not that we're smarter, but I'm saying in our humor.
I'm starting to feel a little marginalized up here.
No, I'm saying at our humor, we get to it before they do, and we do it better. But I also have this theory that our mothers are so that we feel that we can say whatever we want because they're never going to turn on us. Do you
Those
know
were
what I
actually
mean?
Yiddish words you just used. I don't know.
But I do.
is actually a
People
Yiddish
are
word.
like, was your mother upset when you talked about her? And I was like, no, she loved it. And I never felt like if I said something, my mother was never going to talk to me again. You know? What? Robin?
Robin, why don't you come on up here?
This is from the audience. What separates a good page of comedy from a bad page of comedy?
Page?
Page?
Yeah, it said page.
We don't refer to them as pages. There's that. No,
Would that be a joke? A page of comedy? Is that the unit?
Well, I'll
they're
take
talking
my
about
own.
book writing, so one page.
Yeah, so who
is that right?
decides, okay, you write something, Alan, and then Adam gets it and is like, not funny.
Well,
It's like you're
That
there in the
happens a
room
lot.
with us.
Yeah.
Who decides, all right, we're funny enough at this, this is done, it's funny enough.
In our case, we didn't really do that.
I didn't even read what they wrote yet.
We just sort of like sent each other the essays, and it was okay. I don't recall.
Did you punch each other's stuff up?
No.
No.
We
Wow.
did
Just
this.
Alan's-
that's good.
Alan's stuff.
There were sections where we all contributed.
Dave and I wrote a book together called Lunatics, and we decided there were two guys and we alternated chapter. He was the voice of one guy, I was the voice of the
that's
other.
Yeah, I did critique him.
The only time I was critiqued in the collaboration of a
okay.
book was by Dave.
I'm not going
By
to get.
Dave, the Pulitzer Prize winner?
Yeah.
But let me.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah.
explain? I don't want to get real technical here, but we're about a third of the way through the book. We had about, I'd say, 5 or 6 major characters in the book, and that they had done things which we would call the plot. Third of the way through the book, Alan sends me a chapter, and at the end of the chapter, all of the main characters are dead.
Mr. Pulitzer had an issue with
So I did actually, I corrected that. Well, I told him,
Say, fine, if you're going to nitpick.
So, Lynn
you
Gold.
really did do
wait.
that.
I did do that.
Now, Lynn Gold wrote a question. She's Elon Gold's mother. Her 3 sons are here. It's her birthday. It's my son's birthday today, too. So,
Wow.
happy birthday to
Yay.
Lynn Gold. Where are you? Where are the 3 sons?
Right.
All 3?
Hey.
Elon, you're here? Is Ari here? I love you, Ari.
What?
Oh, I had to.
What the hell is
since
happening right now?
I literally had to talk.
What's
going on?
Ari
You've lost
came out of the
control.
closet, and I had to call the parents and have a
We're gonna
like,
go and
an
see Oprah.
intervention.
Thank you.
Okay. Happy birthday, Lynn Gold. Okay.
That was
These
a
are
question.
real questions from the audience. What is proper tipping etiquette?
Are we talking about
Is this a Jewish
circumcision?
thing?
Yeah.
Is this a circumcision joke?
I don't know.
Why don't you ask questions about your
Is
car?
this our Jews cheap? Is this our Jews cheap joke? Is it? It could be.
Jews
our
are good
cheap.
tippers, I think.
I know, because we're overcompensating.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, as a Jewish person, I love your humor. Is this me or no? Huh? Oh. Do you have any concerns that you might be perpetuating stereotypes? I get this question all the time. And you know what? There's a reason they're stereotypes, because they're real. And when I do my mother, I'm doing verbatim in her voice. I am not going to anglicize anything. I am going to be a proud Jew on stage wherever I go and talk about my Jewish mother and anything Jewish about me in front of any audience, you know? So I don't think I think I'm proud. I'm a proud Jew. I feel like, you know.
I agree with you. I think that the PC thing has gone way, way, way too far. When we were growing up, everybody made fun of everyone else, and then we went out to dinner together.
Right.
You know?
And that's not happening.
And to be accurate in your portrayal of people does not make you anti-Semitic, anti-black, anti-anything. And you know, you keep on holding the standard for our people.
Thank you. But I agree, and I think stereotypes serve a purpose in a way because they're very specific. And if you're talking about someone in a they're a stereotypical blank, that paints a picture for someone. It's not saying that everyone in that group is exactly the same. You know, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything else in your palette as an artist. You can use it lazily, and you can be reductive, and you can, you know, and stereotypes can be a bad thing, and we've all seen and read art of various kinds that is nothing but a bunch of sketched in characters that
Right.
rely on nothing but stereotypes, and there's nothing specific about them. Or you can use them, tear them apart, you know, kind of reconfigure them. This is a book about Jews. I'm not worried about offending anyone by employing and making fun of Jewish stereotypes in the book.
Right.
And there's a quiz in the book called "Are You an Anti-Semite?" Which
That's right.
Yeah, which kind of goes to this point because basically, no matter what you answer to any of the questions in the quiz, you are an anti-Semite.
Right.
But the point is that if you if you answer yes to this question, you're an anti-Semite for the following reasons, because you're buying into these stereotypes.
Right.
If you answer no, you're buying into an equally pervasive opposite set of stereotypes.
Right.
So that's the thing about stereotypes is, you know, they don't necessarily follow a logic. They can contradict themselves, and the Jews are stereotyped in so many contradictory ways that you almost have to talk about the stereotypes to talk about the Jews, whether they're true, false, or both.
Right.
So,
And it's hitting it head on. You know, it's saying, it's acknowledging that this is out there. I'm not going to avoid it. I'm going to, you know, like, first question, do the Jews control Hollywood? If you answered yes, you're an anti-Semite. If you answered no, you're an anti-Semite. Do you believe that Jews are opinionated, pushy, and prone to butting in? If you answered yes, you're an anti-Semite. If you answered no, you're an anti-Semite.
Right. There are reasons also. It's not just a simple yes or no. You're editing for time and clarity, of course.
Right. As the publisher. You have a page called The Holocaust. Now, this is, of course, the most sensitive topic, and now we're in this PC culture where it's about words, and it's not about context or nuance or intent. That's what we've lost. It's about, oh my God, she said, I don't know. She said this. I'm now offended. People are offended by proxy now. You know what? How do you deal with this sort of?
Our approach was to make Dave write that page.
I mean, it's amazing. We will not mince words. The Holocaust was bad for the Jews. And yet, despite the horrific carnage, despite the vile and grotesquely evil dogma enthusiastically embraced by so-called civilized nations, despite the inconceivable misery and the unbearable pain inflicted upon millions, a pain that can still be felt today, a pain that can never truly be erased from the Jewish consciousness, there was still, in the end, a positive side of the Holocaust.
Keep reading.
The positive side of the Holocaust. Now that we're thinking about it, the Holocaust didn't really have a positive side. Forget we even brought it up. Jews in Europe today. There are an estimated 17 Jews living in Europe today. They would prefer that we not reveal where. It's so brilliant in the way that you're taking this horrific event, acknowledging it, acknowledging the pain, and we laugh. Like, laughing is such a release.
When I was writing Saturday Night Live, there was a writer on the show named Rosie Schuster, and she pitched a sketch that didn't get on the air, but the idea of the sketch was the 10 worst Hanukkah gifts ever. And number one was the Hanukkah they gave Anne Frank a set of drums. Now, this was 40 years ago. I didn't put it on the air because it had other problems, but, you know, you never heard that one, did you?
No.
Wow. You want to hear?
Why did you do the Ebert thing when you could have done that?
Yeah.
No, well, because I was building up. It's a beautiful thing.
It's brilliant.
You want me to tell the other one?
Okay. Read the review. That was
No.
okay.
Nazi Germany. Robin just said, oh God. Old Jewish man is walking down the street, Nazi Germany. Car pulls up, stops, door opens. Hitler comes out, takes out a gun, says Jew, and he points onto the sidewalk and at a pile of dog shit and says, get on your knees, start eating. So the Jew gets on his knees and starts eating. Then he looks up, knocks the gun out of Hitler's hand. Now he's got the gun. He says, Hitler, down on your knees, start eating. So Hitler gets on his knees and he starts eating shit. Old Jew goes home and he says to his wife, you'll never guess who I had lunch with today. You were worried until I got to the end, weren't you?
Adam and I are laughing because we've heard that as many times as we've heard Ebert.
Jokes made the rounds.
Do you think a show like The Producers could be made today?
Mel
but-
Brooks says no.
Yeah.
He said he couldn't do it. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do Blazing Saddles.
It's just so.
Norman Lear says he couldn't do All in the Family.
Right. I
today.
wrote a whole chapter in my book. They did All in the Family. They did the live, and they edited. They cut out some words. What? Don't you think we're going back? I mean, isn't this awful?
Yes.
Okay. Alan, do you still drink beer after electroshock therapy?
Oh, that was, wow, what a memory.
Spuds?
Spud Beer. The first year of Saturday Night Live, Al Franken and Tom Davis wrote a commercial parody for a beer called Spud Beer. And they had me, it was beer made from potatoes, but they had me be an electroshock therapy patient, okay? And they led me out of some room and into the hospital room, and they put me in the bed, and they kept on saying, cut. And we did this 5 or 6 times, and finally the director, Dave Wilson, took me aside and said, Alan, because I just had electroshock therapy, and he goes, don't act the part. Just walk the way you ordinarily walk, look the way you ordinarily look. I said, fine, I don't know what kind of show this is, but we did it again, and I just went through it the way I go through my life, and he said, it's perfect, let's go for lunch. Okay? So that was a very long time ago. It was for the beer, it was the beer for people who didn't know the difference.
Why is there no good, authentic Jewish pickle west of New York City?
I got good Jewish pickles in Berkeley, California. Come out and see me. I mean, I don't make them, but I can show you where to get them.
I think maybe the biggest cause of anti-Semitism in America is Jewish people in like Miami telling everybody all the time that they can't get good bagels in Miami. We know you can't. Shut up about it.
Right.
Yeah. Although, I would also, one of my favorite parts of the book is the history of the bagel, which Dave wrote, in which he discusses the travesty that is the cinnamon raisin bagel.
Right.
But they have blueberry now.
No, that's a donut. That's not a bagel.
No, they have
That's a fucking donut.
It's a travesty.
We
Go
say
ahead.
if you can go back in time, and we all agree, we go back in time, the first person we kill is Adolf Hitler. Second person is whoever put the cinnamon raisin in the bagel. Okay.
Why did they have to goyish that? I mean,
don't
it is just.
And then, the same person probably puts mayonnaise on it.
Oh, yeah. And butter on the bagel instead of cream cheese? No.
Peanut butter is okay. It's in the Torah.
Yes. I think you should convert, Dave.
I'm kind of there. I am circumcised, as you know.
You are, but you have to get another snip when you do the.
No.
Yes, you do.
I'm out.
They
Count me
prick it. No pun intended, actually. Dave, this is for you. How have you been doing in your quest to be more like Lucy? Specifically, have you been performing with the marching band?
I did. I wrote a book about things I learned from my dog when I turned 70, and she turned 10, so 70. And one of them was, try to have fun, which you stop doing as much of when you get old. And so I'm in this really stupid group of guys in the Midwest who march with lawnmowers and brooms in the Arcola, Illinois Broomcorn Festival. It's, as I'm sure you know, Arcola
Not Jewish.
Broomcorn nobody's Jewish there. No. And I just did that 2 weekends ago. So yeah, I'm still doing that. Thank you for asking. It's still really stupid.
How important? I mean, there's the Jewish religion. There's the culture of the. Do you think the culture of Jews, the younger is changing? Because there's so many people who are like, well, I'm culturally Jewish, but I'm not really. Do you think if we have less religious people, it's going to affect that culture, that it's going to dilute the culture?
Do you think it is less, though? I mean, what is happening is intermarriage.
Right.
That's happening.
I don't want to talk about it, but yes.
This is always the complaint, right? I mean, one of many complaints, but the idea that if people aren't religious, if they don't go to temple, if they're just culturally Jewish, they won't be Jewish at all, or their kids won't be Jewish at all. Like it dissipates, and if you just have that, it's not enough. I think that's bullshit. I come from a family of at least 4 generations of Jews who are only culturally Jewish.
Right.
Nobody goes to temple, and it's.
But they married Jews.
Sometimes, yeah.
Did you?
I'm not married. I just have babies. But
he doesn't personally have the babies. I
Right.
just want to point that out.
But no,
I hear you. I hear you.
The mother of my 2 most recent babies is Jewish.
Right. But it's interesting.
Your 2 most recent.
I've never heard it
The
worded
2
like
most
that.
recent babies.
My 2 most recent.
I have two children under the age of
We call
2
them
and a
the recent
half.
children.
Yeah, I have
2 children under the
under
age of
2 and a half. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 10-month-old.
You're
That's why
poor.
I'm here.
Well, yeah, why is that?
Or-
By the way, it's absolutely true. We were given, and our publicist is here, all of these cities that wanted us to go on book tour. And we figured, okay, we'll pick the major cities and we'll go to it and we'll do some individually. But there are some that we go, okay, we don't have to, that's too small. You know, who needs, Indianapolis, who needs Rochester? He keeps on going, I'll go, anything to get out of the house.
It's been a long time since I left my house. It really has.
Well, good, because that keep you from having more recent babies.
I love you, Dave.
It's true. It's true.
Dave, as the only non-Jew, do you think we're different? Do you think we're different? Like, we can always tell another Jew when we see one.
Yeah.
You know, you've grew up in the Presbyterian
Yeah.
church. Like, what do you think of us?
I can be honest, Dave.
Yeah.
I love Jews. I mean, I grew up, my friends were Jewish. You know, my dad was a Presbyterian minister, but he was a funny man, and he he had many Jewish friends. Anyway, yeah, Jews are cool. They're just like, they have something.
Right.
It's not basketball talent.
My son is going to play Division I
Yeah, sure he is.
basketball.
Sure.
He's
Is
6,
he really?
8 and a half. Yes.
Well, okay, there's
Don't
two different,
tell
you
me
make
that.
two different statements
Can't
there.
jump, but he's a good three-point shooter.
Okay.
All right, yeah, go ahead. No, but yeah, I always think that we're different.
You are different. There's something, and it's really what Adam's talking about. It's not the Torah, it's the culture. It's a very distinct culture, but it's a wonderful culture.
It really is.
Yeah.
More important, I mean, the second, well, I guess third now, the third most important book in Judaism after the Torah and this book is the Talmud.
Right.
What is the Talmud? The Talmud is one long argument over generations held by dozens, if not hundreds of rabbis about the minutia of every law, every rule, every interpretation. The book ended when they ran out of space. There are no margins.
But see,
in
that's
the
the
Talmud.
thing is, that's not Judaism. Judaism is all the people making fun of that.
Right.
Who get it.
Right.
Who like, that's me, that's my people, and it's ridiculous. And
You missed the pleasure, by just being a cultural Jew, of going to a shul on Yom Kippur when all the people there are fasting and haven't brushed their teeth.
Oh,
You have no idea.
is that like you're not allowed to brush your teeth?
No, you can't do it. Nothing can pass your lips.
Right.
You're allowed to throw up, but that's going out.
Man. So, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I might have to
There's much
experience
you can
that
learn
someday.
from me. Yeah.
I do
Chinese
fast
food
on
in the garage.
on Yom Kippur. I do fast. I've started fasting.
really?
Yeah. Well,
You're getting more Jewy.
I for the sake of those around me, I do have an espresso in the morning because no food
Oh,
is
yeah,
no problem.
I do. I think that's, you have to take medicine.
You got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's medicine. What do you think of David Ben-Gurion's quote, "A Jew is anyone who says he is"?
Nah, sounds like bullshit to me. I think that's bullshit,
Yeah,
I think
I
we can
agree.
all imagine a circumstance. For example, Mel Gibson walks in, we start beating the shit out of him.
Right.
He's like, I'm a Jew. He's not a Jew.
Right.
I'm still gonna kick his ass.
I think Mel Gibson could take us. Good,
Oh, fuck him. He's such an asshole. What do you think of all this people getting their DNA done and finding out and they're all like, I found out that I was 12% Jewish, so I'm like Jewish. It's like, no, you're not. It's like
Right.
this DNA stuff is crazy.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the idea of culture, right? Like
Right.
this, Judaism is not a genetic inheritance as much as it is a series of ideas and beliefs and
Right.
cultural, like that's why, you know, that's why, like, when Elizabeth Warren defended herself by getting a DNA test, it rang hollow, because as she would even acknowledge herself, she didn't grow up with any sort of tribal affiliation.
Right.
She wasn't part of the Native American community. So to be like, I have my DNA test and I'm 12%
Right.
Navajo, it doesn't really, nobody gives a shit. You look like
Right.
an asshole, you know? So
So you're voting for Elizabeth
I am voting for
Warren.
Elizabeth
Yeah,
Warren,
okay.
despite that, actually. I'm
right.
a big fan, but I think she fucked up on that one a little bit.
I know. I mean, I agree, but it's also like, look how much he is fucked up on. Don't call her Pocahontas. I hate
Sure.
her. Okay. If a Moyle botches a circumcision, I can't talk. If a Moyle botches a circumcision, can you ask for a refund?
Well, you know, we tried.
I tried, but I couldn't get one.
There's a lot of tasteless Moyle jokes out there, and
Right.
we don't
We
want
have
to
a bunch of them in the book.
Yeah, well,
I got them from Wikipedia.
Yeah. We try, you know, I don't want to dignify them by quoting a bunch of punchlines.
Oh,
like,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
What's, you know, I don't know, every 6 months they send us back a giant prick like you would be one. The thing about Moyle jokes, you only need the punchlines.
Right.
If you rub it, it turns into a 4-piece luggage set.
Right.
Is a good one. Because Jewish women won't touch anything that's not 20% off is another one. Again, these are horrible jokes, and
We do not endorse these
do
jokes.
not endorse
They
them.
are in our
But
book.
they're in the book, but we don't endorse them.
We already heard your answer to this. What
Oh,
are,
my review from
no,
North? No.
I can't with that review. What are your favorite Jewish jokes?
My favorite Jewish joke, well, it's really one that he tells. I don't know, do we have time for you to tell your Jewish joke?
It's a long joke, but yeah, sure.
All right, I got a gig, so I'm leaving after this.
All right, well,
All right.
you can tell this joke at your gig, so you can.
Oh
write
my
Yeah, no,
God, I
you can
can't
open
wait.
with this.
Okay.
All right. So there's this guy named Rosenberg. This is the greatest Jewish joke I think of all time.
Better than the You'll Never Guess Who I Had Lunch With?
It's better, yeah. Also, a humor tip that I've learned from my time with these guys is if you build a joke up a lot before you tell it, the joke can't fail.
Right.
So there's this guy named Rosenberg. He's a tailor. And one day, on his way to work, Rosenberg hears the voice of God. And God says, Rosenberg, sell your business. Take it in cash. Rosenberg's like, interesting, okay. Who am I to argue? He sells his business, he takes the profits, he goes home, he's got a quiet dinner happening, and the voice of God returns. Rosenberg, go to Las Vegas. Rosenberg obediently buys the cheapest ticket he can find to Las Vegas. He gets on the plane, steps off onto the tarmac. Voice of God returns. Rosenberg, go to the blackjack table. Bet everything. Rosenberg goes to the nearest casino, slaps his life savings down on the blackjack table. The dealer flips the cards. The dealer has 17. Rosenberg has 18. He breathes a huge sigh of relief, having just doubled his life savings. Then the voice of God returns. Rosenberg, take another card. Rosenberg is getting kind of nervous, but he summons up all of his strength and he says, hit me. Bam. The dealer hands him an ace, 19. Breathes a huge sigh of relief. The voice of God returns. Rosenberg, take another card. Rosenberg is sweating profusely. People all over the casino are watching this guy, but he summons all his strength and says, hit me. Bam, another ace, 20. Rosenberg, take another card. Rosenberg can barely even summon the word. He says, hit me, and the dealer gives him another ace, 21. The voice of God returns. Unfucking believable.
Oh, I love it.
I'm not even sure why that's a Jewish joke.
I know,
but it's
just because of Rosenberg.
Rosenberg.
if it was like O'Reilly,
Yeah.
it would
You
know,
still be
Irish
no.
joke.
Because the Jews view God ultimately.
He's always
that's an
talking
Old
to him.
Testament God.
He's
we don't
always
know-
talking to him.
Yeah, but also we don't know why. It doesn't make any sense.
It's why, circumcision, like God comes to Abraham who's 99 and tells them,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Sarah.
You have to circumcise everybody in your household. Okay, cool. Why not just shake hands on it?
Yeah.
Why does that have to be the thing? Anyway.
And Sarah gave birth at 90.
90, yeah.
God told Abraham to kill Isaac.
And it was like, cool, all right.
said,
And
"Fine,
Isaac
I'll
was
do
cool
it."
with it. Isaac was like, okay, Dad, we're going camping. Yeah.
I think
you're
that's
gonna tie
bad
me up.
parenting. I
You're
really
gonna tie
do.
me up and, okay, cool,
We
It's
just
very
listen.
calm in the Bible. And then, oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, you have to kill him. Oh, okay, that's cool, God, thanks.
Yeah,
It's kind of a weird story.
It is a weird story. There's a lot of crazy, one thing I learned is there's a lot of crazy shit in the Torah that we don't ever talk about because we're busy talking about like what types of wheat you can eat during Passover, But like when Moses sends spies into Canaan to see what's going on and whether they should try to, make entree into the promised land, the spies come back and they're like, the land is full of giants. And they're like, cool, I guess we'll wait. And then it's never discussed again.
Well, this is why bar and bat mitzvahs are so funny. Is like
Right.
the kid reads a Torah portion, some 12, 13-year-old kid, and it's like, sometimes it's like something significant, but sometimes it's like, if the person has gout, kill a bird, and then slit it by the throat, pour the blood on another bird, boil that bird, pluck the feathers, and stick it up the nostril of the victim. And that's like the whole Torah portion. And this kid has to like get up and say that means we should help other people.
Right.
Right.
Torah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed Susan Engel from the 92nd Street Y walked out and handed me a card. We have to, stop this.
Oh, that's nah. We'd like you all to come over. I'll put up coffee.
Alan's garage.
Yeah. Chinese food.
Seriously, hilarious. You guys are fucking brilliant. Adam has the same vocabulary as me, which I love. But this is like, can you write more books? I'm happy to contribute. Email. Okay. So, see, the publisher was into that as well. So you're going to be outside signing books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where can people buy them as gifts? Is it on Amazon?
Amazon and stores and.
But also right here, right now.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I know. I meant when they,
in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they're going to call,
Wherever
oh
you
my
get a
God,
book."
Myrna, I just went to this thing at the 92nd Street Y. It's a book.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is a
So-
question you get a lot as an author, and I never quite sure
Where
what
can
to
I buy your book?
Where can I buy your book?
Yeah.
And you go, a bookstore?
Oh,
Wait. And they go, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
no, this
There's
is
that,
the worst.
and then there's have you written anything I might have read? I don't know. I just met you. Do you fucking read?
I know. I get so, people will be like, oh, we want to come to your show. How do we get tickets? I'm like, how'd you get tickets to your last fucking show? Which is, can I get a free ticket? So Dave Barry, Adam Mansbach, is it Mansbach?
Mansbach. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Alan Zweibel, I can't thank you enough. You guys are so fucking
Thank you,
hilarious.
Judy.
Yeah,
Thank you. Good
Oh
going.
my God.
Judy Gold.
Go buy this motherfucker and get it signed. I love you. Thank you. Happy New Year! Wait, I'm pulling out my